Hey, what is going on, guys? Dennis here. This video is actually based on a request I had from not even somebody online, but somebody in real life. So they saw the method that I walk into job interviews with, and for any of you guys who don't know this one, I'm a butcher. That's what I actually do for a living. But yeah, somebody like me, if you walk into a job interview and I say, hey, I'm a butcher, I usually have to bring the tools with me and show them that I know what I'm doing. So this is just based off of what a friend of mine said, hey, why don't you make a video of it? Because they couldn't believe this, but usually I walk in with something like this. And don't worry, I'll spare you the boring part. It's not a get ready with me video. It's not no dumb stuff like that, but get this item out of the way off the desk. So, first thing that you bring as a butcher is a towel. You're going to need to wipe certain things off, and not all those things are things that belong to the store. So, with that little boring thing out of the way, the next tool is a bone scraper. If you're ever in a supermarket and you see the butcher taking one of these and he's running it over the tops of the steaks, making sure they look right, and then they get sent across the room to get wrapped, this is what creates the nice surface on the steak and just gets all that junk off, and then we recycle whatever comes off of this. Now for the next one. This is our block scraper. So, okay, pretend I've got a butcher block in front of me, even though it's a desk. If I was in the middle of doing something and you now have a little bit of, whatever on the table that's in the way, you grab one of these from underneath the table like so, just like this, right into your hand or right into the fat can next to you, which is where we recycle the stuff from. Another little use I have for this tool is it's got a built-in ruler. I don't know how well that's going to show up on camera, but this is actually a 6-inch ruler right here. And as funny as it sounds, you'll get customers that will come to the counter and say, are you sure that steak was an inch thick like I asked? Well, yes, sir, it is. And you see right in front of them, oh, okay. We do learn in this trade, though, how to do things by feel. So if somebody said, make me a 4-inch long sausage link, I may not be perfect enough to do it first try, but we don't necessarily have measuring tools for everything. That's just a little added bonus, but yeah. Now, another one, but it's not one that you're going to think of a butcher in a supermarket having, but believe me, when I say we have these back here, this is a meat hook. Okay, now I'm not going to say nothing graphic here because I'm not a big fan of, certain aspects of things either, but we get sections of the cow in. We don't do, I don't even want to say the word. We don't do that there. They bring it to us half processed. If they say, hey, we need strip steaks out there, I need like 5 strip loins in a tub, wheel the tub in, bring this with you, and one at a time you pick them up, you put them in there, keeps your hands clean, and nothing is going to fall off of this too easily. So, next couple of things. In the industry, we call this one a rat tail or a honing steel. Some people call it a sharpener, but I can tell you, you're not sharpening the edge of the knife, you're straightening the edge with one of these. And now we get to the actual fun part of what's in here. So I keep 2 sets of knives in here. I've got one decent sized butcher knife, one decent size, I'm not even sure what you'd call the second one in here, but we're not going into this one today. So, as a butcher, upon entry into the meat room, I'm usually throwing, washing my hands, throwing on coat, apron, and the rubber gloves are only after you get cut-resistant gloves on. Now, don't take these for granted. You could still get injured while wearing these. I know I did because that giant scar you see there is actually from one of the knives in front of me here from a long time ago. Okay, so I'm obviously not at a butcher block, so I will not be cutting any meat in here, but I can basically show you based on what we got here. This is one of the little cool privileges you get being the butcher in a supermarket. So I come in, my knives are wrapped up in cellophane, edge away and point away from me. That's how you get injured, is by taking stuff like this for granted, but it's very sharp. So box cutter straight in the center. Pop the cellophane open. This is what you call a boning knife. A lot of you guys who never cut meat before, you might refer to this as a steak knife because it's about the same size as what you got on the table at home. Except that this probably has a much better edge than what most people have. Now, this is usually what people notice when they walk in, they see somebody like me cutting. I simply refer to this one as Big Red. It's literally the size of a landscaping machete. Now, when I say to be careful with things like this, that's part of the reason I'm at that position. They will not just hand somebody straight off the street something like this and say, hey, can you do something with that piece of pork? It doesn't work that way. And just for one other thing, while I happen to have it out here, I'm not going to be doing much with the edge of this in front of anybody, but when you take the rat tail, this is one way, creating the same angle on both sides. And what I'm actually doing is I'm getting that edge as perfectly straight as I can. And yeah, doing something like that, you can kind of tell. But of course, I don't have no meat in here, so there's no way for me to do any more than that. But yeah. Now, about the only other thing that some people keep, and it's just because of the fact that I got hair on my head. Any place I walk into, if I got to handle food, a hairnet goes on, hands washed, cut resistant, and then rubber gloves plus apron and coat. You can't be too careful in there. But yeah, for anybody who's never, been around that field or worked in it, if you get up to that level in a supermarket, there's not very much, let's just say like the managers and the store owner, pharmacists, maybe a few of them are getting paid better than you, but the guy that they're paying about half as much to as what a pharmacist makes without a college degree is the guy like me, where you say, oh, you're the butcher? Do you know the difference between this and this? Which one will cook better? Of course I do. I have it in front of me all day. But yeah, now with all that being said, basically I just wanted to do a quick tools of the trade video, and now that you see all these things, let me get these gloves back off. When I say cut resistant with these things, I don't mean perfectly cut proof because, oh yeah, there we go, thumb is starting to split. That's not even from the edge of a knife, but it is actually possible because if I wanted to, I definitely could do something to this, but that's not what we're here for. Sometimes you'll see in some of the higher upscale places, you'll see, the butcher like me will be wearing one of these, a rubber glove, and then it's a metal chainmail glove. Looks like medieval armor that you put on your hand. And the reason is simple, because say, this is only a rat tail, but if that was a knife and I had chainmail on, I could literally do one of these and nothing will happen to me. Does not mean you would purposely do so, but I think that's about all I got for you guys tonight, but let's see. Yeah, there ain't much of anything else to see in here for right now, and thankfully none of the places I worked at required me to bring a coat and apron, but some places you might. Now, as I said, this trade is something that, if you're lucky enough to get into this and actually get good at it, they pay really well. And, like I said, walk into a place and that's what's at the top of your resume. Oh, okay. They're offering you a lot more than what anybody else is getting. Does not mean that no one else could achieve that, though. So for any younger people, if that's what you want to get into, ask at certain markets. Some places will allow you to be an apprentice, some will not. I got lucky a few years ago, and that's, the only reason I'm any good in this field. All right, guys, so I think that's all I got for you tonight. I am going to sign off, and I guess stay tuned. I'll be back on soon.